Well, what do we have here? I'll tell you what we have here. We have the first game, or at least the first replay that I've received in the 2020 EMS Scraft tournament. It is KernelPanic. Name rings a bell, I'm not sure where from, playing Protoss in the top left. It is Jonesy playing Zerg in the bottom right. So Jonesy with this worker is just carrying minerals somewhere, don't know where to. He fancies wandering about holding the minerals. He loves the minerals, they're his favourite. Meanwhile, KernelPanic going for a more traditional scout without the minerals. But both of these players, by the looks of things, are intent on finding out what the other is doing. We don't have an expo or anything yet from the Zerg, but we are only 45 seconds in, so I'll let him off with that. It's a quick forge from KernelPanic, so obviously I'll tell you what, this is game 2, isn't it? Why don't people level up the replays? Seriously, it would help me. It would just make my life so much easier if they just changed the name of the replays. So the drones come down and they are faffing about. Who knows what the drones are doing? Hasn't killed the pylon, is going to chase this about. So top tips for dealing with this: don't have all your workers chasing the probe. There's just no need for it. Section off some of your workers. Have 2 workers, for example, chasing the probe, and have the rest of your workers sort of the rest of them, obviously. Oh no, Jonesy, you're not building anything. You've made the classic mistake. What you've done is, yeah, you've stopped the cannon rush, but look, you're busy typing stuff in, but you haven't bothered to actually build any workers. So, you know, dude, let's less of the chat, more of the actually doing stuff. So finally some stuff starts to get built. Over here in KernelPanic's side of things, you know, hard to, oh, you're up 1-0, are you? Spoiler alert, like seriously, label the replays, guys. KernelPanic is doing stuff over on the other side of the map. I didn't really bother to look. I don't know if he was doing stuff during the failed cannon rush or not. Jonesy, he's got gas. The spawning pool is on its way. It's about halfway done, so it's a very late pull. You know, so this cannon rush was successful. I know what you're thinking. The cannon didn't kill anything. It just doesn't matter. Look how far behind Jonesy is compared to where he should be. We're at 2.5 minutes, and you know the hatch isn't done. The spawning pool isn't done. He's currently mining 12 out of 16 workers instead of fully saturated. I'd call that a great success. This, you know, this Nexus isn't that far behind the hatchery here. And KernelPanic look oversaturated, ready to transfer. Well, actually, he isn't. He's not mining gas. But you know, still, KernelPanic's way ahead. Essentially, is the short story. So we hit the 3-minute mark, and there are now some lings in production. I want to see queens in production. That would be fantastic. KernelPanic is somehow supply blocked, having lost that pylon. That is just careless. Pylon finishes up here. Okay, you know, I'd prefer a pylon down here or something, so you can get those shield batteries up and stuff. You've got to expect when you've tried some sort of cannon rush, oh my god, what am I even seeing, and failed, that there's going to be a flood of lings or something coming at you, because you know, in general, if somebody cannon rushes like that, they've gone forge first. That means their tech is behind where it should be. And by the way, here we are at 3.5 minutes. Oh, where's my side core? Didn't I build a side core? Oh god, I didn't build a side core. How embarrassing. So in general, you'd have to expect from any normal player that just, you know, 30 to 40 lings are about to turn up in your base. So you want to have shield batteries, you want to have some sort of wall, some sort of cannons, but KernelPanic hasn't bothered with any of that. Luckily for him, there are not 40 lings on the way. There's only 4, and they're not on the way. I tell a lie, there's 8. But yeah, they're not on the way. And you know, why not? Because the cannon rush was successful. Because Jonesy, what you did was you stared at the cannons, you stared at the workers chasing the probe around, and you didn't build stuff. If you'd have just set a couple of drones following the probe, a couple on just attack move, maybe a couple attacking the pylon, for example. So you've only got 4 drones out of action, 2 on the probe, 2 on the pylon. If you'd have just done that and then ignored it, just pretended it wasn't there, gone about your business, macroing up, dropping your spawning pool, dropping your hatchery, you'd have been miles ahead, because you can you can be sure that your opponent was busy microing that probe, trying to be clever, trying to drop his cannons and not paying attention to his base. So, you know, rise above it is the way to beat a cannon rush. Don't play their game, just rise above it. Just dispatch enough drones to see it off and go about your business. And they end up further behind because they've been so busy trying to be clever with their drone, with their probe rather, that they haven't bothered to do anything. I mean, look how far behind KernelPanic's tech is. 5 minutes in, and we've got a single gateway. You know what I mean? There's just nothing here. Yeah, he's got the 2 bases up, but where is he? So the lings are going to come in. There's a couple of zealots here with the cannons. This may not do too much. There's certainly enough zealots to see this off, and that isn't a great fight to take. He's going to get this stalker, which is something for your money, but really these lings wanted to be doing damage to workers. So, you know, the choice here really is run past this stuff if you can, run it into here. Generally, the way you want to do that is grab your lings, right click them into here, and then deselect them so that you've got, you know, maybe half of them, and have those half and just a click into the sim location. And what that will do is it means your lings will turn up here. Half of them will engage these units, so these units will be busy. The other half will run straight past up into the main and start doing damage. So while these units are busy killing your lings, so they will of course kill those lings are sacrificial, the other lings have done the damage that you needed to get done. You know, you'll swap lings for workers any day of the week. One ling is worth half a larva, it's half a supply. It's 25 minerals. Workers, of course, are 1 supply each, 50 minerals, and additionally actually bring you an income, whereas lings don't. This is beginning to look ominous. There's quite a few. Oh God, look at the queues. How much money do you think is in queued up here? You know, what are we looking at here? 1,000 minerals just sat in a queue. I don't know. You know, you'd expect better from somebody that has for someone for whom the tournament, this is their second time around. You know what I'm saying? Don't try and get in there with lings. It's horrible. There's too many zealots here. This just isn't nice. The lings aren't even attacking. They're mostly just running about. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't any good. So please don't do that again, Jonesy. These overlords just parked out the front. I don't like it. Spread them out. Have an overlord over here, have one over here, have one here, have one here, have one here, have one here. Looking for stuff. One here lets you know when your opponent drops the third, and here. One parked up here perhaps is ready for you to suicide into your opponent's base and see everything that's going on before your opponent can kill it. One here is letting you know when that warp prism is on its way in. One here, for example, is letting you know in advance that there's an oracle about to fly into your main and kill all your workers. So spread them out, have them around the map. Okay, so lair finished on the, oh my goodness, it's a hive. What am I seeing? Oh, what? Okay, interesting. It's not every day you see that. Hive in the natural, not even saturated. You don't need a hive until much later in the game, so you know, there's no advantage to having a hive this early. Hives are for late game, when you need to build ultras, when you need to build broodlords, when you need to get your 3/3 upgrades. You definitely don't need a hive this early. It's just, there's no point. What you do need is to saturate these minerals, have this gas mine in, have another base here and another one here, and given that it's 8.5 minutes, maybe another one here, but you don't need a hive. Anyway, this is only game 1. Perhaps I'm being a little too harsh. Maybe I've got you know, maybe I need to curb my expectations a little bit. Look at all these zealots. Just parked at home going, why have we been made? Why have we been worked in? What's our purpose in life? Your purpose is to stand here next to the cannons. Oh, that's a boring job. I don't like it. Shouldn't I be hacking and slaying? Yes, you should, but no. For now, you're just going to stand here. Anyway, good. Yep, that's a base. It's got some stuff happening, bit of mining. This base, look, a couple of probes over. This base, 5 probes over. Why bother with all the gas? You don't need it. Yeah, this army looks awfully like it could just walk across the map and win. And my suspicion is that that's what we're going to see happening pretty shortly. This is a random hodgepodge of units. Look, we've got some lings, we've got some roaches, we've got some mutas, we've got a couple of hydras even. We've even got a corruptor. just let's throw one of. Oh look, there is an ultralisk. There's an ultra cavern. I love it. It's just like, if you're not sure what tech to build all of it. Just why wouldn't you? Just get the upgrades for everything. There's literally simultaneously melee upgrades and ranged upgrades happening here. If ever there was a sign that somebody doesn't really know what tech to go for, it's when they're getting upgrades for both at the same time. Anyway, what was I trying to do there? I think I was trying to zoom out or something. Look, there's an observer who's just going to fly in and see everything. Imagine your surprise when you fly in, you see the hive with the ultralisk cavern. I mean, at this point, I would shit the bed. I would just be like, holy crap, I'm about to just get wrecked. There's ultralisks already, and I've got zealots. Zealots, like, ultralisks pretty much just eat zealots. They get up in the morning and they tuck into a nice breakfast of zealot. This immortal just exemplifies this game so far, doesn't it? He's just going to walk across the map on his own and just be like, hello mate, you know what I mean? I'm just a scouting immortal. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm not even going to shoot anything, but look, he's going to get kills because the rest of this stuff's just gonna stand and watch. Mike died. Yeah, his name was Mike. Gets better. Anyway, good. What am I watching? Normally I don't lose the plot and get hysterical until much later in the competition. There's a greater spark. I mean, we're going to see a broodlord. I hope this one corruptor is going to be a single broodlord. I love it. That's going to be my favorite thing. Yeah, so there's a pretty big army here for the Protoss, but you know, he does have to be careful because this ultralisk on its own, he hasn't got the chitinous plating yet, I don't think, has he? No chitinous plating. But if this ultra was upgraded, it pretty much on its own would just eat all the zealots, and then all he really needs is like to get the lings on the. All he really needs is to get the lings on the stalkers. There's not that many stalkers. They're the only thing that shoots up, and then that one broodlord's going to win him the game. Observer's going to come back to have a look. KernelPanic, like, you've seen everything and just like, what are you waiting for? I'm just going to stay home, get my stuff to stand about on this ramp for a while longer. Good. Yeah, anyway, moving on. It's constructive pointers to make here. One good constructive pointer to make is if you're a Zerg, turn an overlord into an overseer, so you've got detection, especially when you're playing against Protoss. They have DTs, they also have observers and stuff, and you know, this observer is given KernelPanic full vision of your entire army, so he knows what he's up against. Not that really matters, because I think he's just building stuff randomly anyway, you know what I mean? You've got Mutalisks. Tip 2, Mutalisks are not a stay home and fight unit. In general, Mutalisks, you don't fight with Mutalisks, you just don't. That's not what they're for. They're hit and run. So Mutalisks, you need to be flying the mutas in here, killing all the workers, then in here, kill all the workers, in here, kill all the workers. And as soon as anything turns up that shoots the Mutalisks, you just run away. That's what they're for. And not for hanging about here. In a head-on fight, Mutalisks are pretty useless. Look, we have got one broodlord. I love it. This broodlord's going to be MVP. I can sense it. I can smell it in the air. This broodlord's going to absolutely dominate. So the Protoss army is going to come in here, and that's going to be bad. Look at all these zealots just feeding through this choke one at a time. The lings are going to come in with the surround. Unfortunately, the stalkers are actually not shooting the Mutalisks, which is kind of weird. So how are we doing? We've got an ultralisk there. He is eventually going to die. There's just so many immortals that ultras are just going to die fast, which is a real shame. Now, how's this broodlord doing? He needs to focus on the stalkers, otherwise KernelPanic will have a thing that shoots up. If he can just, there's so few stalkers left. If he kills the stalkers, If he kills the stalkers, this Broodlord wins the game. But he's running away. Don't run away. Don't run away, Jonesy. Stand and fight. Dominate. Dominate. Turn the other corruptor into a Broodlord. It's going to be epic. Yeah, maybe not. Army supply-wise, it's looking terrifying. All that's really left is these Immortals, and the flying units are over here hiding from them. Immortals don't shoot up, so you could kill these actually quite handily. You know, the only things that shoot up here are these two Stalkers. So, yeah, shame. Funny place for a hive. It's dead now. So that's kind of, arguably this would have been the better hive. Not that any of that matters. This game is over. So maybe I'll cast it again tomorrow when I'm less tired and grumpy and have some more constructive things to say. I think what made me grumpy was the lack of labeling on the files. So I had no idea that this was game 2, and it all got spoiled. It's victory for KernelPanic. Was it a victory though? Was it? I think we all knew who took the moral victory. You know, Jonesy straight in game 1 with a hive, with a lone Broodlord and with Ultralisks. I have to hand the moral victory to Jonesy. KernelPanic with the attempted cannon rush. You know what I mean? You know how I feel about cannon rushes. So yeah, Jonesy takes the moral victory, but it is KernelPanic that takes the actual victory that counts towards the overall scores. GG.